Hey there guys, what is going on? I'm sure you've probably seen it in some of your games already. The Jak-12 is basically making Call of Duty Modern Warfare not very fun right now. As you can probably tell, you will have seen a lot of people running around with this particular weapon right now, and it is pretty goofy, but the only problem I have with it is it's kind of confusing to work out which attachments to use for it. I mean, we are going to be taking a look at the explosive rounds, of course, here today, because it is a lot of fun to use this, and it's really, really effective at what it does, but you do have to actually be kind of accurate with this, so it's not as easy as you would think to try and just, like, sort of sprint around with an explosive round shotgun. Anyway, before we get into this one here, make sure you hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on, just so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming content. You're going to see some videos in the upcoming days of a slightly different splash screen, because I did record them a couple of days ago, but let's just jump straight into our class setup here. So of course this particular Jak-12 class is centered around the explosive rounds, which they shoot kind of basically a frag grenade, which is really goofy, like an automatic frag launcher is. Not exactly what I had in mind when I saw the AA-12 was going to be coming to the game, but we'll start off with our sidearm perks and grenade choices here because they're slightly different than they are usually. Here we of course do have the Akimbo X16s, which is basically just a powerful close range option. We don't really need this if we are using our shotgun sort of grenade launcher primary. It's really weird. But Monolithic Suppressor, Singuard Arms Advantage Barrel, the 5mm laser, the lightweight trigger, and of course the Akimbo perk. If somebody does get too close for whatever reason and you don't really feel like using our shotgun, you can of course run around with these and just blast people away. You could then maybe take like a Desert Eagle or something like that and just beef it up for sort of range if you are interested in that, but I feel like the shotgun does sort of cover those medium distances quite well. As for our perks, we're changing them up slightly here. In the perk 1 slot, we do want that Scavenger because you're not going to find explosive shells on the ground unless somebody else is running with them, so Scavenger is good to resupply ammo from those dead players. A really, really nice option here. Ghost is for staying off those UAVs, of course, which I mean, you're going to be pretty obvious where you are on the map most of the time anyway when you are basically just launching frag grenades everywhere, but I mean it is what it is. You got to have Ghost so you stay off those UAVs, and Tracker is another good perk. In the perk 3 slot, basically you can see those enemy footprints, and then you combine this with something like Dead Silence. You run around behind people and it's really, really easy to pick them off. Semtex in the lethal slot, basically just because the C4 is dead, as many of you may know, you can't toss it anywhere, so the Semtex is another good replacement for that. And then the Tactical is the Stim Shot, just because having that extra chance per life is really, really nice here. But like most shotgun classes, I mean, this isn't really a shotgun anymore with these explosive rounds, but a smoke grenade can do wonderful work here. So let's talk about these explosive rounds on the Jak-12 first. The 8-round frag 12 mags. Basically, it's an explosive round that has slow muzzle velocity and a small ballistic profile that evades trophy systems. So it shoots a very small frag grenade, and it's capable of dismemberment, just blows people up, gets increased damage range and explosive impact, of course. Now, from what I've seen, you can get a one-shot kill with this if you do hit somebody in the body. I'm pretty sure you can't hit someone in the legs and you get a one-shot kill, which is a little bit weird. Like, you think if you shot a frag grenade, someone hit them in the legs, it'd kill them anyway, but you pretty much have to hit the upper torso for a one-shot kill from what I've seen. You do lose that damage radius of the shotgun, the bullet accuracy and the velocity and the stock ammo, so there's a little bit of a trade-off here, but I mean, once you see this thing in action, or you probably have seen this thing in action already, it's so stupid how good this thing is. Like, you have to be kind of accurate with this, and that's why we've chosen the attachments that we have, including the Merc foregrip, for that recoil control and aim down sight speed, just to get those sights up nice and quickly. The iron sights with this particular weapon are really clean, and we want to maximize the aim down sight speed where possible so we can get our sights on target and shoot those grenades at people as quickly as possible. The 5mm laser does help here with that hip fire accuracy and sprint to fire speed, mostly the sprint to fire speed because it can be a little bit lackluster. That's sort of the mitigating factor in this not being completely overpowered. The AA-12 or the Jak-12 does have a quite slow sprint to fire speed. Like, you'll be sprinting and then there's a little bit of a delay before you can actually fire your weapon regardless of what you do, so this does help sort of lower that time a little bit. And the hip fire accuracy is actually quite nice because sometimes somebody is too close, you just fire that shot at them and they'll still die. Then you want the stipple grip tape, of course, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, similar suggestions to what we just talked about before with the Merc foregrip, and of course the 5mm laser combines the two stats really nicely here. And then the last slot is the ZLR Tsunami stock for that aim down sight speed. Now, of course, if you are feeling particularly spicy, you can swap this out for an optic. Like, we would typically go with like a GI Mini Reflex if we're trying to be really accurate, but I feel like the iron sights on this gun are really, really clean as it is. So, I mean, this is up to you what you want to choose here. But I mean, you just sprint around everywhere with this, you like get those sights up nice and quickly and just launch basically frag grenades at people, and it's really goofy and it's a lot of fun to use. I'll explain it in the gameplay as we get into it here. I mean, this is already a terrible map to show off what we can do here, as we're going to get picked off from pretty much every angle, but we'll try. We'll try our best here. I mean, this is not going to go very well for obvious reasons, because Euphrates Bridge is basically the dumbest map they've ever added to any game. But I mean, I don't know how I feel about these explosives, man. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, they're good, of course. Like, they're pretty good, but I mean, is it a little bit too much? I mean, they're automatic, so a fast aim down sight speed and hitting any of these on target will basically mean you get a kill. I mean, not that we're hitting our target right now, but that's because we're bad, not because this gun's bad. Silly man, what are you doing? And I mean, you can do stuff like that. You can just pepper people until the end of time until they fall over, which is a little bit goofy. I mean, that is probably a little bit too much. But I mean, I don't think anybody actually had AA-12 explosive shells on their list of things that they thought were going to come out of this patch. So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. It's pretty strange. Like, there's this weird, like, little splash damage component that does come out of this, but once you start pointing this at people and you actually hit your shots, like, it's pretty goofy. I'm not gonna lie, this is a very silly thing that they've added to the game here. And then you do stuff like that. See how I hit him in sort of the lower torso? I mean, he didn't die. I think we're gonna have to jump into another game here and show this off a little bit more, because this map was not ideal. And then you do stuff like that, and you're like, this is the best gun in the game. And it makes no sense why they added this. I'll jump into another game quickly, and we'll see how we go. Alright, this is going to be a little bit shorter of a gameplay, as we're going to combine this into what we just saw previously. And Atlas Superstore should be a little bit better of a map to show this off on, but I'm going a little bit of a rant here. I'm not 100% sure that anybody who designs or works on anything for this game actually plays it. Because, like, this is a little bit too much, in my opinion. Let's gonna lay down here and have a sick time. Just wait for people to come to us. Like, it's not that this weapon's, like, aggressively strong, because, I mean, you do have to be kind of accurate with this to get it to actually do anything, but, see, it's a little bit rough like that, but it's just obnoxious. Like, you hear people using this thing, and you can hear it in your games as well if you're sprinting around and somebody's using this. Like, basically, it's just, like, the loudest thing in the world. The explosives are so constant. Especially on those, like, objective game modes where, I mean, you just run into this all the time. Like, it hurts. It hurts my soul to be like, yep, this is in a game that I play. Oh, this is silly. I feel like they should just get it over and done with and just add, like, the Dragon's Breath rounds to, like, the 725 and just, like, get it over and done with and just let everybody, like, ruin the game for each other. Because at this point, when they're adding, like, explosive rounds to shotguns and stuff, it's just a bit like, well, this doesn't make much sense, so... But I mean, not gonna lie, this is a lot of fun to use. Like, this is a lot of fun to run around with and just sort of spray people. Like, you don't even have to be super accurate a lot of the time. That splash damage does okay. EOD does counter a lot of that splash damage that does go out from this, so... It's one of those weapons where you do have to, like, be a little accurate, but also, like, not very accurate at the same time. You can get away with being a touch inaccurate. But if you hit those body shots on people, like, they just die, so... I mean... This thing's pretty goofy. This thing's pretty goofy, I'm not gonna lie. It makes me smile when I see the people running around with this and just, you just go... And... Oh, I really don't know how I feel about this. Like, do the people who designed this game actually play it? I really don't know. I really don't know, and I don't think that that is the case, because you just look at stuff that they add and you're like, well, that's not good for the game. That's not going to be very much fun to play against in about 2 minutes. Because once people work out that this is actually good and does have pretty nutso range, I mean, they're going to be all over it. Once a lot of you people watch this video, you're going to be all over it too. And that's, I mean, that's part of being who I am, making videos on the internet, telling people what to use in the Call of Duty game. They'll use it, and then you run into it more, and then you get sick of it, and then the game won't be fun anymore, but... I mean, like, what was it? Infinite Warfare had a gun that you didn't actually have to aim. Like, if anybody was on your screen, it was a sniper, you just press left click or you fired your gun and it killed people. So there is that, but, I mean, you just run around like this, and... Is it... No, it was him. Oi. Oh, this was a mistake. This is too much, boys. It's too much. I love it so much. Alright, we're going to have our final thoughts on this in just a second because I feel like you know exactly what this is about and we haven't even played for that long, so I'll see you in just a second. So, the explosive rounds, the frag rounds on the Jak-12 are pretty good. I think you only have to get to like level 33 to unlock them anyway, but I mean, this is a little bit too much for this game, I think. Like, it basically, if any of you have ever played Overwatch before, and you are familiar with the character Junkrat, this is what this feels like. You just shoot grenades at people, and sometimes they die. Sometimes they don't die, they can walk past the shots just fine, but sometimes they'll just get hit by them and they blow up and die, which is very, very funny. We're going to be making a couple more videos on the Jak-12 in the upcoming days because there's a lot of class setups that you can run with this that make it a very, very effective shotgun without these dumb frag mags. So if you are interested in that, make sure you do leave a like and let me know if you do want to see that in the comments, and I will make sure to get around to doing that. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already done so, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on. It does very much help me out, and I do very much appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching, as I said a bunch of times already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!